If you want to become a QA engineer in 2026, most content out there will hand you a checklist. Learn manual testing, pick up Selenium, get a certificate, and that checklist is not wrong. But here is what the checklist doesn't tell you. The hardest part of QA isn't executing tests. It's knowing what to test, why it matters, and how to communicate risk clearly to the people around you. That's the part that actually determines whether you add value on a team. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete roadmap from foundational skills all the way to the professional mindset that keeps you relevant as AI reshapes this industry. We're going to cover every step in the right order. Whether you're just starting out or you've been dabbling and want a clear direction, this is the guide I wish existed when I started. Let's get into it. Before you learn a single tool, you need to understand what quality assurance work actually involves. QA is not randomly clicking buttons. It's not hunting for typos on a web page. At its core, QA is about protecting the user experience by finding problems before real users encounter them. That makes you part investigator, part risk analyst, and part communicator. You study how a system is supposed to behave, then you probe it systematically to find the ways it could fail. Think about the person on the other end of the software, the customer trying to complete a checkout, the employee submitting an expense report, the patient booking an appointment. Your job is to make sure those journeys work and to catch the ones that don't before they reach those people. There are a few things worth internalizing early. First, QA engineers add value by questioning assumptions, not just running scripts. When a requirement is vague, you ask. When a design looks incomplete, you raise it before development starts, not after. Second, bugs found early are cheap. Bugs found in production are expensive. Your job is to push discovery as early as possible in the development cycle. And third, start building your observational habits now before you touch a single test case. Use websites and apps as a curious observer. Notice when an error message is confusing, when a form accepts data it shouldn't, when a page loads slowly under certain conditions. That habit is the beginning of a QA mindset. Manual testing is where every QA career should begin. It doesn't matter how much automation you plan to learn later. Manual testing teaches you how software behaves, how requirements translate into features, and how to think through user journeys systematically. A test case is a documented set of steps, conditions, and expected outcomes for verifying a specific behavior. Writing good test cases forces you to think carefully about scope and what could go wrong. When you design tests, you want to cover 3 layers. The happy path is the main flow that works correctly under normal conditions. Edge cases are the boundaries, empty inputs, maximum field lengths, unexpected characters. And negative scenarios are what happens when a user does something the system wasn't designed for. The best way to practice this right now is to take any website you use regularly. Pick one feature, a login page, a shopping cart, a search box, and write test cases for it. You'll quickly discover gaps in your own thinking. Now let's talk about bug reports, because the quality of your bug reports directly reflects your professionalism. A vague report wastes the developer's time. A well-structured report gets the issue fixed faster and builds your credibility as someone worth working with. Every bug report needs these elements. Now I want to quickly run through the core testing techniques. These give you a structured approach to covering a feature without trying to test every possible scenario, which is never feasible anyway. Start with equivalence partitioning and boundary value analysis. They're fast to learn and immediately make your testing more systematic. Exploratory testing is a skill you develop over time with experience. You do not need to be a developer, but you do need to understand how software works well enough to test it intelligently. Let me walk you through the 3 technical foundations every QA engineer should build. Learn the basics of how client-server architecture works. What happens when a browser sends a request? How data moves through a system. Understand the difference between the front end, the back end, and the database layer and how they interact. Also learn the basics of version control with Git enough to understand branching, commits, and pull requests. You're going to be working alongside developers every day. Being able to participate in their workflow immediately raises how seriously they take you. SQL is one of the most underrated skills in QA. When a user submits a form, places an order, updates their profile data is being written to and read from a database. Your job is to verify that the right data ends up in the right place. Start with select statements, where clauses, join operations to query related tables, and aggregate functions like count and sum for data verification. Then practice insert, update, and delete so you understand how data changes. Practice on freely available datasets online. The ability to query a database and confirm that the application's backend is behaving correctly is a skill that consistently impresses hiring managers. Python is the most practical first choice for QA engineers. Readable syntax, a huge ecosystem of testing libraries, and it's widely used for automation, data processing, and utility scripting. You don't need to become a software engineer. You need enough ability to read and write automation scripts, understand what code is doing, and debug when tests break. Focus on variables, conditionals, loops, functions, and basic object-oriented concepts. Let's get into the tools. I'm going to split this into two scenes because there's a lot to cover, and the order matters. The first tool group is where your day-to-day work actually lives. Jira is the industry standard for tracking bugs, managing tasks, and coordinating work across development teams. Learn to create well-structured bug tickets, use labels and components correctly, and link your bugs to the relevant user stories or test cases. Beyond Jira, test management tools like TestRail and ZephyrScale are used to organize test cases, plan test cycles, and track pass-fail results over time. Understanding how to maintain a well-organized test suite in one of these tools demonstrates professional discipline. API testing has become one of the most critical skills in modern QA. APIs are the backbone of nearly every application, and testing them directly is faster and more reliable than testing through the user interface alone. With Postman, learn to send GET, POST, PUT, patch, and delete requests. Validate response status codes, response bodies, headers, and response times. Write automated test scripts inside Postman collections. And set up environments so you can switch between dev, staging, and production without rewriting your requests. Chrome DevTools is free, always available, and enormously useful. Learn to use the Network tab to inspect API calls in real time, the console to catch JavaScript errors, the Application tab to inspect cookies and local storage, and the Elements panel to understand how the page is structured. Once you're comfortable with manual testing and scripting basics, you're ready for automation. In 2026, the three frameworks most in demand are Playwright, Cypress, and Selenium WebDriver. Pick one framework and go deep before adding others. Build a test suite for a real application from scratch. Structure your code properly. Learn to handle weights and synchronization correctly. And learn to maintain tests as the application changes. Software doesn't just need to work correctly, it needs to work correctly under real-world conditions. Performance testing validates whether your system can handle expected and peak load without degrading the user experience. Learn the 4 types. Load testing verifies performance under normal user volumes. Stress testing pushes the system beyond capacity to find its breaking point. Volume testing checks how the system handles large amounts of data. And spike testing simulates sudden traffic, surges the kind you see in e-commerce during a major sale. Apache JMeter and K6 are the most widely used tools. Learn to design simple scenarios, analyze response time metrics, and interpret throughput and error rate results. Modern development teams release software continuously. Quality assurance in 2026 happens inside automated pipelines, not just in dedicated testing phases. You need to understand what continuous integration and continuous deployment pipelines do and how your tests fit into them. Get familiar with Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or GitLab CI. You don't need to configure pipelines from scratch initially. But you should understand how to diagnose a failed pipeline run and how to communicate with DevOps engineers when something is blocking a release. This section is consistently undervalued in beginner guides, but experienced hiring managers rate soft skills as decisive factors when choosing between candidates with similar technical profiles. Let me be direct about what matters. Risk-based thinking, you can never test everything, there's simply never enough time. Experienced QA professionals allocate effort based on risk, which features are most likely to fail, which failures would have the highest impact, and which areas of the codebase have changed recently. Before every testing session, ask yourself, if something is broken here, what is the worst that could happen? Where have defects appeared before? What changed in this release? Communication, QA engineers write, speak, and present constantly. Bug reports, risk summaries for product managers, requirement reviews with developers, test result presentations for stakeholders. Your ability to communicate clearly and concisely directly determines how much influence you have on product quality. Collaboration. Quality is a team responsibility. Effective QA engineers build strong relationships with developers, product managers, designers, and DevOps engineers. In interviews, teams aren't just evaluating your technical skills. They're asking, do I want to work with this person every day? And attention to detail. The best testers are genuinely curious about how things work, and they notice inconsistencies naturally. Build this habit by asking why every time something behaves unexpectedly, and by going one level deeper than the obvious test scenario. Artificial intelligence is changing the QA landscape rapidly. I want to explain what this really means for your career without any hype or fear. AI tools are genuinely useful right now for several things. Generating test case drafts from requirements or user stories, which you then review, refine, and extend. Writing initial automation scripts that you adapt and improve. Analyzing logs and error messages to help identify root causes. Code review assistance through tools like GitHub Copilot, and summarizing test results faster. Use them as accelerators. They reduce repetitive work and help you explore ideas faster, but they require your judgment to be valuable. An AI-generated test case covers the scenario the AI was prompted with. You need to evaluate whether it covers the right risk, whether edge cases are missing, and whether the expected outcomes are actually correct. Here's the truth about what AI cannot do. It cannot understand your organization's context. It cannot negotiate priority with a product manager. It cannot recognize that a bug technically passed acceptance criteria but will still frustrate users. And it cannot know when to push back on a release decision. The vast majority of QA teams in 2026 operate within Agile environments, primarily using Scrum or Kanban methodologies alongside modern DevOps practices. Understanding how these work is not optional for a professional QA engineer. In Scrum, development and testing happen within short iterations called sprints, typically 1 to 2 weeks long. Learn how sprint planning, daily stand-ups, sprint reviews, and retrospectives work. Understand where QA fits in each of them. There are 4 practices I want to highlight specifically. Shift left means getting QA involved earlier. Instead of waiting for code to be delivered for testing, you're reviewing requirements and designs before development starts. This is where the biggest value add happens. Finding gaps in requirements is dramatically cheaper than finding bugs in code. 3 Amigos sessions bring together a developer, a product owner, and a QA engineer to clarify requirements and identify testability concerns before a single line is written. If your team doesn't do these, suggest them. They save significant rework. The definition of done is the shared agreement on what must be completed before a user story is considered finished, and that always includes testing. Know what your team's definition is. Push for testing to be explicitly included. Recruiters want evidence that you can apply skills, not just list them. Here's how you build that evidence before your first QA role. Practice on real applications. Test publicly available websites and web apps as if you were a QA engineer on the team. Choose something with real complexity: an e-commerce site, a travel booking tool, a financial application. Write structured test cases, document the bugs you find, and practice your reporting format. Contribute to open source projects. GitHub hosts thousands of active projects that genuinely need QA help. Contributing to testing efforts, writing test cases, filing well-documented bug reports. This demonstrates initiative and produces portfolio artifacts you can actually show employers. Build a portfolio repository of your own. Include your automation scripts along with a project guide explaining what you built, why you built it, and how to run it. Add sample bug reports, test plans, and test case documents. Share the link in your CV and LinkedIn profile. Recruiters who receive a link to a well-organized project remember the candidate. For certification, the ISTQB Foundation level is the most globally recognized entry-level QA credential. It validates your understanding of testing fundamentals and gives you a vocabulary that's understood across the entire industry. It's worth pursuing while you build your practical experience. Technical skills get you interviews. Your professional network helps you find opportunities, grow faster, and navigate a career over the long term. Update your LinkedIn profile to reflect your QA skills, tools, and projects. Many recruiters search LinkedIn specifically for QA professionals with specific tool experience. Make it easy for them to find you and understand what you can do. Join QA communities on LinkedIn, Reddit, Slack groups, and Discord servers focused on software testing. Engaging in these communities keeps you current with real industry conversations and connects you with people who can open doors. Attend virtual conferences. Events like Test Bash, Eurostar, and SauceCon have online participation options. They're excellent for both learning and meeting people in the field. And consider writing short LinkedIn articles or posts about what you're learning, consolidate your own understanding, and build a visible track record of professional engagement. You don't need to be an expert writing, as a learner is genuinely valuable. This is the section that separates QA professionals who build long, rewarding careers from those who plateau early. As AI takes over more execution-level testing work, the professional value of a QA engineer increasingly lives in judgment, communication, and strategic thinking. Judgment in QA means knowing when something feels wrong even if it technically passed. It means understanding the difference between a bug that's annoying and a bug that erodes user trust. It means being able to walk into a release meeting and say, "Here are the risks we haven't covered yet, and here is why that matters." When teams hire experienced testers, the questions they ask go beyond tools and techniques. Can you explain risk to a non-technical stakeholder? Can you push back on a timeline professionally when quality is genuinely at risk? Can you identify the scenarios that matter most when there isn't enough time to test everything? Can you build a testing strategy that aligns with the product's goals? Those are judgment skills. Build them alongside your technical skills and invest in how you think, not just what you know. Let me pull everything together into a clear action plan. 4 phases, each building on the last. This is a realistic timeline if you're dedicating consistent focus time, even a couple of hours a day. The phases overlap. You start job-ready activities while still building technical skills. The important thing is that you're always building something real, not just reading about it. QA engineering in 2026 is still an excellent career. The demand for professionals who can think critically about software quality, communicate risks clearly, and collaborate effectively with both technical and non-technical teams continues to grow. Today's tools are more powerful than ever, but they don't replace skilled testers. Instead, they help thoughtful QA professionals deliver even greater value. QA is not just a stepping stone to another role. For those who fully embrace the discipline, it offers meaningful work, continuous learning, and strong long-term career growth. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It helps more people discover this content. Don't forget to subscribe for more QA and software testing content, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.